Hi, greetings everyone. Thank you for joining today's Ask the Expert webinar. Today what we're going to be covering is a transcript overview. My name is Carlo Ramos and I work on the solutions team here at Relativity. For anybody listening to this live, we will be offering continuing educational credits for the live viewers. For anyone recording or listening to the recording of this, you will not get the credits, but to register for future live webinars, feel free to visit the Relativity Training Center at the link on the page on the lower left-hand corner. As far as today's agenda, what we're going to talk about is the new transcripts application within Relativity. We're going to go ahead and talk about some of the functionality that comes with the application. Once we've covered the functionality, I'll go ahead and demo that same functionality within the software. Following the demo, we'll go ahead and we'll talk about some of the features that are coming that are on the roadmap with the Transcripts application, and we'll also try to leave some time at the end of today's webinar to have some questions, to allow for some questions and hopefully provide you with some responses to those questions. So as far as an overview of the Transcripts application, what this is really going to give your users the ability to do is import your transcripts into Relativity, conduct a review, you'll be able to code and do any work product and make annotations on the transcript file within Relativity. If you've used our previous product, the mass operation for updating transcripts or generating transcripts, this is a more advanced version of the software. And if you're on a version of Relativity, this is 9.5.309.48. This is the January release of 9.5. You'll be able to download this application directly from the Relativity community. As far as some of the features that I'd like to highlight as part of the Transcripts application, you'll have simple import functionality. So if you're looking to open this up to different members of the case team, the process should be simple enough that anyone on accessing Relativity should be able to import transcripts into Relativity. With the, so as far as some of the functionality, with the word index, there is some improved functionality that is built into the software that will allow you to take a look at to search for words, see the number of counts or the number of hits of that word within the transcript. And you'll also be able to see the page and line references that particular word that you're searching for hits on. You'll also have the ability to make different annotations, which we'll cover on the demo. You'll have the ability to link to any documents in your workspace. If you are importing exhibits at the same time, you'll have functionality to be able to perform this linking, and this is very similar to some of the work that court reporters may be doing, but you'll have that functionality built in with the application. If you're using case dynamics, there's also integration that has been factored in, so we'll get into that in the demo as well. And for any case team members that require printing of the transcripts, you will have the ability to generate single page or condensed transcripts or photo a page when printing to PDF. And if you need to generate any reports or have any reports made of the work product within a particular transcript, we do have flexible reporting options. We have two different options, which I'll show on the demo as well. So what we're looking at here is the transcript import modal. So once the transcript application has been installed, there will be a new transcript button that you can click on, and this is the pop-up modal that will come in. So you'll have the flexibility to browse out to the transcript on your local drive or on a network share that you have access to, or you can simply click and drag that transcript file into the pop-up modal. For supported transcript file types for now, we do have these listed on our documentation site, but we currently support PTF, XMPTF, RTFs, TRN, LEF, and TXT files. So we'll talk about additional formats during the roadmap section of today's webinar, but those are currently the supported formats within the transcript application. So once you've dragged that transcript or loaded that transcript, we are reading the file, and you will see a preview of that file pop up on the right-hand side, what we're looking at here. And using that preview, you can use that to populate the fields that are listed here on the left-hand side of the pop-up modal. Once you have confirmed and you are good with the information that has been populated, you can go ahead and click the Upload button. Once the transcript has been imported, part of that import process is to, we are generating a word index. So similar to email threading, within the viewer, in the lower right-hand corner, there will be a button for the word index that you can click on. And what that will open up is the word index and the functionality to be able to search for particular words that exist within this transcript. So once you perform a search, you will be able to see the count. And there, under the locations portion, you will see the page and line references to where that word hits within the transcript. And you can hover over those locations and be able to click on that to go directly to that portion of the transcript. In regards to some of the annotation functionality within the software, you will have the ability to make notes on the transcript. So if you are looking to collaborate with your case team and there's a need for you to be able to make or mark annotations or make notes on the transcript and have a collaboration tool within here, you will have that ability to select text, right-click, and make a note. As far as making designations, or in the event that you need to do any issue coding, we do have functionality where if you select text, right-click on it, you will have the ability to add a designation there, and you'll also have the flexibility to generate new designation types, and that information will get highlighted in the right-hand portion or right-hand margin of the transcript viewer. In regards to linking to any documents or any exhibits that were being imported at the time of transcript import, you'll also have the ability to generate links to the exhibits at the same time. So with that, what you see here is, if you select a piece of text, you right-click on that text, you'll be able to link a single occurrence or link all occurrences to that piece of text, and what will come up is a filter box that you can filter on the control number and link those documents within Relativity. And the important thing there is really, instead of having multiple tools that you're doing this work, or having to point your reviewers to different applications or different tools that you may be currently using, you're able to leverage all of this functionality within Relativity. You'll also have the ability to link URLs, which I'll demonstrate once we get to the demo. And if you're using Case Dynamics, also known as Fact Manager, what you'll have the ability to do is, again, select text, right-click on it, and you'll have the ability to create new Case Dynamics items or link to any Case Dynamic items that are listed. Once you've done any of that linking, you'll be able to take advantage of the legend that you're looking at there in the bottom center of the screen and be able to see any highlights on text that has been linked to Case Dynamics. If you want to do any of that linking, you'll also have the ability to just simply click on the Case Dynamics coding pane above the layouts and be able to do the linking within there. Also included as part of the transcript layout or the transcript application is a layout that is going to be installed as part of that application. And what that's going to allow you to do is review any of that information that you had populated during transcript import. You can also click on Edit to import or input some of that information at a later time. You'll also have the ability to review any of the exhibits that are linked within this transcript. You'll also be able to review any of the designations, any of the notes, as well as any of the URLs. So as you can see, once you're on this layout, what you will see is the location of where those respective items exist and you'll also just get you'll get a high-level overview as to the information that has been linked on that page. As I mentioned on the agenda slide, if you're in the need of having to print a transcript, you can generate a single-page transcript, and you'll have different options for branding. You'll also have different options on whether or not to include additional information such as the transcript name, the workspace name, transcript date, witness name, or include page numbers. What we're looking at here on the screen is an option to print a condensed transcript where you're seeing 4 to a page. So those are our 2 current options in regards to printing. And then if you're looking to or have the need to generate a report, we do have 2 different reporting options. First, I'll talk about the annotation digest, where if you're looking to include any of the work product that has been done on this transcript, you can choose to link those all right there. You'll also have options to include in the entire question and answer pair, or modify the amount of information that you're including above and below the particular item that is linked there. So here's just a quick example of what that looks like. In regards to a key term report, this works a lot like a search term report, where, as you can see here on the screen, you have the same options to include the entire question and answer pair. You can control the number of lines above and below the particular term that you're searching for. And there at the bottom of the screen, underneath the key terms portion of the report input, you can type in the words separated by a hard return to be able to search for specific words within that particular transcript. And what we're looking at here is an example of the report that is generated. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and log into Relativity to move towards the demo segment. But before I do that, let me go ahead and take a look at some of the questions that have been asked. Okay, so we have a few questions here. The first question is, can the text of the transcript be included in the DT search index for searching? The answer to that is yes. And for the can you load more than one transcript at a time, currently you are limited to using the new transcript button, which does import the transcripts in one at a time. On the roadmap in the near future, we are looking to open up the functionality using the RDC to be able to import multiple transcripts at the same time. And another question is this transcript application available or functional on the mobile application? And the answer to that right now is no. The transcripts are not accessible on the mobile application. It's something that's on the roadmap though. So let me go ahead and start the demo, and I think what this will do is address some of the questions that people might have at this point. So I've got the application installed here in this Relativity workspace, and when you install the application, you'll notice there's already a transcripts folder that gets created. So what we're looking at here within this workspace is I've already loaded 3 separate transcripts, and let me go ahead and import a transcript file now and give you guys an idea of what that looks like. So I'm going to go ahead and click on the new document, load, and click on new transcript. So what I can do then now is I can either click and drag the transcript out, or I can go ahead and browse out to the transcript. So I've got this LEF file located here, so let me go ahead and click on that. Once the transcript has been read, you're going to get a preview of what that looks like here in the preview window. And let me talk about some of the controls here. So in regards to the control number, by default, the control number is going to be the file name of the file that you're importing in is going to be used as the control number. So if you're looking for more controls on that, you can click on the button here and type in what you'd like what you'd like the control number to be for that transcript. So I'm going to go ahead and just type in the name of the deponent there. And also here you have an input for the deponent name, and that's very important because the name that you provide here for the deponent name, that's going to be the name of the folder that gets created underneath the transcripts folder. And this is also going to be the prefix for all of the exhibits that are being included as part of this import. So as you notice, I had clicked on an LEF file, which is a bundle file that contains a synced, not a synced, but a transcript along with any exhibits that were mentioned. So what we're seeing here is all of these exhibits listed out. If you didn't have the exhibits at the time of import, you could always import them in later using, whether you're using relativity processing or whether you're using the RDC. But if you wanted to use single file upload, that would be an option as well. But if you did have those PDFs, because I've seen media come in from the court reporter that has perhaps the text file along with the PDF exhibits within an exhibit folder, and say you didn't have a bundle file that had all that information already linked, you can choose to upload all of the exhibits one at a time with this Upload Files Select button. So in my instance, this is an LEF, so these are automatically being brought in, so that's why we're seeing these. If you did not want to import those in, you could delete them at this time, but do keep in mind that special considerations would have to be taken in mind to make it look like it was part of this particular deposition transcript. So using the preview, you can go ahead and start using this preview to start populating some of the fields listed here on the left-hand side. So I'll go ahead and start populating the deponent type. You can populate the deposition date, the volume number, you've got the status here, you've got the different source options there. I'm going to go ahead and populate the taking attorney. You can choose the party, and if you're accustomed to working with the hard copy of the transcript and you're holding that 200 plus page transcript in your hand and you're comparing it to what you're seeing here in the rough, and say for example that doesn't match, you do have controls into changing the lines per page if that is the cause for the discrepancy. But assuming everything looks good and you have everything looks good based off of what you've populated and what you intend to import, you can go ahead and click on the upload button. So it's going to go ahead and import this transcript into Relativity. So while that's importing, I'll go ahead and take a question that I have here. Can you link documents to the designations? For example, with undertakings which are not exhibits but are records that are imported into the database. If I understand that correctly, the designations that you're making are specifically to this transcript. If there are any documents that you're looking to link to the transcript, you can definitely use this linking functionality that I'll show you in a second. But they really are separate. If I've misunderstood your question, if you could just clarify the question, but I hope that answers your question. Let me go ahead and take a look at the transcript and show you all what it looks like once the transcript has been imported. So as you saw, we had imported the transcript for Andrew Seja. There were also 7 exhibits that were incorporated with this particular transcript. So I've got the Andrew Seja folder, and that was the value that I had populated on the deponent name field. I'll click on the transcript folder, and you notice I have the transcript file listed there to take a look at the exhibits. You can click on the exhibits folder, and you'll see all of the exhibits listed there. So let me go ahead and click into the Andrew Seja folder or transcript file. So what we're looking at here is this is the transcript viewer. We're getting this is a glimpse of what the transcript looks like. To get to the word index, I can go ahead and click on this word index here. And what that's going to open up is that functionality to be able to search for the words that exist within the transcript and be able to see the count or the occurrence of that word, and also see the location of where these words exist. Notice when I hover over the location, when I hover over these page and line references, you do get a preview of that transcript and where that word hits. And if you want to click on that to browse directly to that portion of the transcript, that'll take you directly to that portion of the transcript. In regards to some of the annotation options, if you wanted to select a piece of text and make a note on that text, you can simply highlight that text, right-click, and click on Add Note. Once you've saved that note, if your case team is doing any collaboration work, they can come in here and make comments on that, and really it becomes a tool that you can use for collaboration within Relativity. So that's making notes. Notice when I click on the note, it either expands and it highlights the text that you had selected. If you click on that note again, it minimizes the note. In regards to designations, if you're looking to make designations within a transcript, what you're able to do is select text, right-click, and then you can choose to click on Add Designation. These designations do have to be inputted at a workspace level. So if you're looking to add new designations, you have the option there to add a designation type. Once you've created that, you do have different options as far as the color coding for the branding that gets, or for the brackets that get created on the transcript itself. So if you were making designations here on the transcript, what you can do is select the text, right-click, and once you do that and make a designation, you're going to go ahead and see that piece of text that has been designated, and you'll see these brackets here in the right-hand margin of the transcript viewer. In regards to exhibit linking, or linking to documents that exist in a workspace, I'm going to go ahead and search for the word exhibit, hover over this piece of text, and demonstrate that if you wanted to generate a link to this piece of text or to this exhibit, you can select the text, right-click, and then you have this link exhibit option. You have two options here. You can either link a single occurrence or link all occurrences. I think in most instances, depending on your case team, that's going to dictate which option you use. If you do link all occurrences, notice here what I had done is that I had provided that prefix or the androsasia as the deponent name. So that androsasia text or deponent name that you provide is going to be the prefix for all of the exhibits that are imported alongside this transcript. So then that becomes a useful tool to be able to type that information in for this exhibit linking functionality. So notice I've got the Andrew filter applied there on the control number, and it's bringing in all of the exhibits that were imported at the same time. So I'll go ahead and link that. So there what you're seeing is a link to the exhibit that was just created. So using the word index, the workflow here could be, since we currently are not, if you do have LEF files and you're importing those in, currently we're not honoring those links. So that's something that is on our roadmap, which I'll talk about later. But for this linking functionality, what you can do is with a combination of the word index, use this and be able to generate links to the exhibits that were tied to this particular transcript. Once these links are made, you'll notice that there's a link created within the transcript viewer. If your reviewers or the case team is looking to access those exhibits, they can simply, working within the transcript viewer, click on this piece of text that gets linked. And what that's going to do is open up that exhibit within Relativity in a pop-up viewer and be able to really drive the use of staying within Relativity for all the needs tied to this particular transcript. So that's the exhibit linking functionality. If you needed to, you also have the ability to link URLs. So, for example, if I wanted to provide more context about Relativity and come in here, select a piece of text, I can also choose to link a URL. And when you click on that link, it is going to open up that browser within Relativity. So it really allows for, using this as your central repository for transcripts, exhibits, and, maybe even any additional functionality that you're doing to really encourage your reviewers staying in one platform. So with this, also, if you are using case dynamics, you'll have the ability to select text, and again, when you right-click on this piece of text, you'll be able to create new case dynamics items or link to any case dynamics items that exist. If you're looking to simply do that coding, you've got this case dynamics button that you can click on above the layouts, and what this is going to do is open up the layout for case dynamics to be able to allow you to make coding or start linking to any facts, issues, people, organizations, interview questions, or any outlines. So if you're in the need to print any of these transcripts that you're working in, the Adobe to Printer icon is located here on the toolbar right above the transcript viewer, and you'll be able to click on that. And notice here you have two different options for pages per sheet. You can do 1 or 4, but when you're printing single page or printing to single page, you'll have the ability to print with notes or designations. For branding options, you'll have the ability to control where you're branding as far as just for the header, footer, or no branding, and you'll have different options of additional context so that you can ensure that you're including where this transcript is getting printed from. So just to show you what that condensed transcript looks like, I'll go ahead and just select the 4 option and generate this PDF of the transcript. And this is just an example of what that looks like. So with that, let me go ahead and before I go into reporting, I'll take a look at some of the questions that have been asked. So again, someone's asking if this transcript functionality will work on the mobile app. Currently, the answer to that is no. And next question is, does loading a proper LEF with linked exhibits preserve the linking, or do you need to link the exhibits yourself? Currently, you do have to link the exhibits yourself. The honoring of any links within a LEF is it's coming in the near future. It's on our roadmap. It's something that we're aware of, and it's a common question that we've been asked. If you export designations or annotations from a case notebook version 4, would you be able to import that information into Relativity as an annotation? Also, would you do this the other way from Relativity to case notebook? In regards to transcript or work product from other applications, currently this is not something that we're supporting. We are looking to give you the ability to import designations at a later time. We're also looking to give you the ability to import multiple transcripts at the same time. In regards to the second part of that question on whether or not you can take these transcripts and export these out into other applications, I think in that situation, I would just go back to the root files and import those into the other applications because, as far as exports, we're going to have the ability to just export it out the way we have it. So in that scenario, you'd probably be best just working off of the originals and using that if you're working with another product. When printing to PDF, does it save the exhibit links or keep the hyperlink functionality outside of Relativity? Currently, we are not preserving that link on the generated PDF. That would require additional work. That is something that we can definitely report up to our product management team to consider for future releases of the software. And can you print with color-coded page line designations by the parties? When you are printing the PDFs, it is retaining the color for the transcript. And I just see a follow-up to that. Sometimes judges require a transcript with color-coded page line designations on the page. And as I mentioned, when you are printing these to PDF, it will retain the color, assuming you're printing to a printer that has color functionality. So that is the printing functionality. In regards to taking a look at all of the transcripts within your workspace, you can click on this transcripts folder, and that is going to pull up all of the imported transcripts as well as any of the exhibits that have been imported as well. Notice any of the exhibits are going to have a clear indication. These are all the PDF icons that you're seeing. For any transcript specific, these have a different icon. So these are, I'm hovering over Roberto Clemente and Catherine Switzer and Andrew Seja here. And these all have a different icon within the document viewer here. So if I wanted to generate a report, I can go ahead and select these documents, and we have a mass operations to generate a transcript report. So here within the software, as I mentioned early during the functions and features of the software, we have the annotation digest report type. I can choose to include all annotations. Notice everything gets checked. If you did want to customize this, you can uncheck some of these items. So just depending on which way you wanted to go, if you wanted to focus in on designations, notes, or URLs, it's probably easier just to select those boxes. Here we do have controls into question and answer pairs. It's a yes/no field. We also have the ability to control the number of lines above and below the linked item that you're looking to include on this report. So if you specify that information here, notice what we can do is browse down into the location here, and I can see all the different transcripts that are included that contain these items. I can see the different designations, notes, URLs, so you really have that flexibility to uncheck some of these boxes or check the boxes that you want to include to generate customized reports. So I'll go ahead and generate this export here. And what that's going to do is generate a PDF, an example of the annotation digest report. So what you're going to see is you're going to get a clear indication of which transcript this is from, any linked items here, and the line and page that that particular item is linked, and it's giving you information here to what that, or the context of where that was linked within that particular transcript. In regards to generating a key terms report, you can choose the key terms report there, same options for question and answer pair, additional lines above and below. You can go ahead and specify the terms that you're looking for. So go ahead and just type in words that I know are going to hit in that Andrew Seja transcript. Click on export. That's going to generate a PDF. And notice here what we're having is, and this is something that was on earlier versions, where we're highlighting here clearly the word that you had typed in. And it now becomes this useful tool if you are working with that high-level member of the case team that may not be necessarily logging into relativity, but you need to generate a report just to give them context as to what was said in a particular transcript or deposition. This could be a useful tool for that as well. So that is the reporting functionality. What I'd like to show you next are just I'd like to address some of the questions that we commonly get. It was someone had asked earlier if you could build a DT search or have the functionality to search across multiple transcripts. And the answer to that is yes. The way you would do that is, let me pull up a save search. But what I would recommend doing in that scenario is if this transcript application is something that you want to include as part of your standard template, the idea would be to create a saved search that rounds up all of your transcripts. So let me show you the conditions for that. Pretty much what I'm doing here is I've created a DT search specifically for just the transcripts. I'm going to go ahead and click on that. And now I'm only searching selected folders, so you'll notice I'm really drilling down to pretty much just the content that's contained within the transcripts folder, and I'm returning only the extracted text. Once you've done that, what you can do then is using that index that you created, that transcripts DT search, you can start to use some of that Boolean functionality. So I've got a Catherine Switzer transcript. I know she's a runner, so I'm going to go ahead and type in just an example of a search within 5 of Beacon. It's a big street that's part of the Boston Marathon, so I'm just going to run that search, and you'll notice I got a hit on that Catherine Switzer. If you're looking for an example of, where a particular deponent or somebody that was in a transcript was sworn in, you can go ahead and type that in. Help within 5 of God, since that's usually something that happens within, the opening portion of a transcript. So that's just one workflow to be able to search across multiple transcripts at one time. Other functionality that commonly gets asked is within a particular transcript, if you're looking to export out specific designations or work product within the transcript, you can do so by clicking into the transcript. I mentioned earlier that there's a transcripts layout. So what I'm looking at here is all of the information that had been populated during the transcript import. But here I also have the ability to click on and see the location of any linked exhibits, any designations, any notes, or any URLs that are relevant within or that have been made within this transcript. So if you're in a scenario where you're trying to export out any of the designations for this specific transcript, you can go ahead and select all of this, and you have this export to list. So any item that you've checked here is going to be exported out into an Excel format. If you need to do this across all of the transcripts within your workspace, underneath the Transcripts tab, you'll notice that you have all these different subtabs. So if you're looking to get a high-level overview of all the exhibits that have been imported in, you'll see that for any linking that has been done, if linking has been done, you'll be able to see the page and line references where that specific exhibit has been mentioned. You'll have the same functionality for designations, notes, and URLs. So if you're looking to export out that information and be able to provide this to the other side, if you're exchanging any of this work product with perhaps co-counsel even, you can select all of this and you can use the mass operation to export to file. So those are just some of the questions that we commonly get in regards to transcripts. So with that, I'll come back to my PowerPoint deck and talk about some of the items that are on the transcript roadmap. So in regards to a big ask that we commonly get and commonly receive is people are looking for the ability to load in video. And currently in Relativity 1, we do have functionality that supports MP4 format videos. So if you have a LEF file or bundle file that contains the video in MP4 format, you can import those in and be able to view the transcript or the synced transcript alongside the video. So let me go ahead and I've got a workspace that I can show you that has that functionality already built in. So we're looking here at the same Andrew Seja transcript. So when you click on that transcript and click into it, here in the lower left-hand corner, there's going to be a transcripts video button. So once you click on that, it's going to go ahead and play that transcript. And as the transcript is playing, you're going to see the transcript text follow alongside. With this transcript, you'll also have the ability to play and pause it. You can always go back and review certain parts of the transcript. If you're looking for a particular term that you know hits within that transcript, you could type that word in on the word index, go to it. Once you get to that portion of the transcript, you can right-click on the particular line and page reference, and you'll have this go to video from line functionality to be able to play that portion of the transcript, and it'll continue from that page and line. So with that, I'll go ahead and open it up to any questions that you guys have. I'll go ahead and take a look at some of the earlier questions. Okay, so some of the questions that we have here. Does the presence of notes and similar distort the page layout of a printout for all pages? To answer that, I think it really depends on the volume of the information that was populated into the note. If, within reason, if there's reasonable information populated into the note, that should be reflected pretty clearly. In regards to printing forward to a page, the option to include notes and designations is not available when you're printing to a condensed transcript. So that option is really only available when you're printing to a single page or single page transcripts. Can you print single color, or can you print with color-coded page line designations by parties? Currently, the only functionality is to print all of the designations. So in regards to specific to the parties, the answer to that would be no. But if you are looking to print the transcript by the designations or with the designations, you'll have that functionality. If you're simply looking to maybe generate a transcript or a printout of a transcript specific to the party, the idea that I would have there is to maybe import the transcript twice and put in the deponent name, which party that is relevant to, make the designations in that manner, and then print off that way. That would probably be the way to get around that specific need. There's a question about, is the PDF creation page size aware? So for example, legal in the US or A4 in the UK. What's happening is it's generating a PDF. So if you're looking to control the page size, what you're able to do then is take the Adobe print options to change the page size. And if you're seeing any wonky results, or if the PDFs that get generated are not up to your liking, definitely that's feedback that we'd like to see. So feel free to let us know if that's the case. The key term reporting functionality, is that available in core relativity? If it's not, is it on the roadmap? For that functionality, you would have to use the search term reports, and with that functionality with search term reports, you would have to turn on persistent highlight sets, and that would mimic that functionality. In regards to the ability to play and clip videos, this is something, definitely it's a big ask. We're aware of it, and it's something that's on our roadmap. I think realistically we're probably looking at towards the end of 2018. It really depends on the different formats that we're looking to support. So it's something that we're aware of, and it's something that our team and developers are definitely working on. In regards to when the video functionality is going to be available outside of Relativity 1, if I'm not mistaken, we have a version of the application that is being released on August 13th. If it's not part of that release, I know it's something that will be definitely available right around the time of Relativity Fest. As far as exporting out anything or work product within a transcript that's related and be able to use this within CaseMap, as I showed, you have the ability to export out the page and line references and the references to exhibits, designations, notes, all from within the transcript layout. You'll also have the ability to do it underneath the transcript tab. There's going to be some sub-tabs. So depending on whether you wanted to do single or all of the work product within a transcript, you will have those two options. In regards to the maximum file size that the platform will accept, definitely if you could follow up with us and let us know of some of the file sizes that you are concerned with. Our team has done some regression testing, and at this point what we're seeing, and this was a decision that was also factored in regards to the supported video type, MP4 files are compressed, so they're typically smaller. So if your concern is specifically regarding the video, if you're seeing or if you're aware of particularly large files, in my past, I am aware that a lot of these video files were about the size of a DVD. So this is anywhere between 2 to 4.5 gig. If you're seeing MP4 files or synced LEF files or bundle files that contain videos that are larger than that, definitely let us know. That's feedback, again, that we need to be aware of. So I appreciate that question. And there's a last question here, is feedback regarding the condensed version of the transcript. Why is there so much unused space? That is definitely feedback that I've heard. It's something that we are aware of. It's something that we're incorporating in, and feedback that we're going to provide back to our case team. But just to kind of, for feature parity, we do have that functionality. And I know ideally, you wouldn't have a need to print the condensed transcript. You'd be simply working within Relativity, but obviously I do understand that people need to work on these offline and may not necessarily want to necessarily be dealing with that volume of paper. So definitely thanks for that feedback. I'll make sure that that's something that's circulated back to our developers. So I don't see any additional questions within the transcript or within the questions box. So with that, I just want to make sure to let you all know Relativity Fest is coming. It is that time of year. This year it is between September 30th and October 3rd, so it is a little earlier this year. If you are on the fence and haven't registered, obviously feel free to do so. It's a great opportunity to learn more about some of the different things that are coming with Relativity. Also great opportunity to network with other folks that are using Relativity. If you're looking to get your hands on the Transcripts application because you're on an older version of the software, I am aware that the content team is building out a lab to be able to look at and get your hands on the Transcripts application. So definitely feel free to reach out and register. There will be sessions on Transcripts as well. Also wanted to provide you all with some resources specific to Transcripts. So definitely take a look at any of this information. For any technical questions, obviously feel free to reach out to our support team. For any workflow questions, feel free to reach out to the solutions team. With that, thank you very much for your time today, and have a glorious rest of your week. Thank you.